creating films has always been something that I've wanted to do. It wasn't until 2011 that I finally discovered why. I wanted to tell a story, make something epic and dark, create something memorable, and so on. But it wasn't until 2015 through 2018 that I finally think I have achieved that. I admit that my older films were quite laughable. They have a lot of mistakes that I wouldn't take back or redo to this day. If I can't look back to learn, love, and laugh at my own work, then how am I supposed to accept them for what they are and to improve? Before we dive into the plot, I'll be summarizing where it all began. Fatal Encounter takes place in the year 2015. An organization named the Sacrifice for a Greater Cause is looking at creating a new world order. The leader, Riker, has a vendetta towards a man named Fennec, whom is responsible for killing his old instructor, Nurgle, during the martial arts massacre of 2012. Rich, a secret government agent, helps Fennec in stopping this wannabe organization, but little do they know that they bite off more than they can chew. They both discover that Riker is only the third in command of something much greater. The size of this organization is left to the imagination. So Fennec and Rich fight Riker and his right-hand man, Chris, in order to end the war on humanity. Although they succeed, it's not without consequences. Fennec mentally snaps and is no longer the same man he once was. Rich nearly dies, then becomes distant after recovering. Chris leaves the organization permanently. Riker's fate is left unknown until now. Fatal Encounter Rise and Fight takes place 3 years after these events, in the year 2018. Seth, the second in command of the West, is performing experiments on the human race in order to make them stronger and more equipped for the reality of war and survival. However, his way of achieving this is inhumane. Rich is then approached by Nick, an ex-Sacrifice for a Greater Cause member and also a friend of Fennec, to update them on what has been going on these past few years. To their horror, they realize that this organization is actually much further ahead than they originally thought. Rich then immediately calls Fennec to come back, to attempt to stop these sociopaths once again. However, this time around is much different than the last. Seth is always one step ahead of them. He is the first successful biohuman of the SGC other than the leader of it all himself. This film is the beginning of the biohumans within the Fatal Encounter universe. A biohuman is a genetically modified human whom has achieved a form of evolution that makes them stronger, smarter, and overall superior to a normal human being. They are highly dangerous, and many consider them to be super soldiers. Any of the men wearing these skeleton-like ski masks with a hint of silver on them are the biohumans. I wanted this particular film in the series to be one of the darkest ones. People are taken, brainwashed, and forced to fight against their will, while also being injected with whatever virus or steroid the organization uses in order to enhance the human race. All for this greater good. Fennec has finally accepted that forcing the human race to change is inhumane and is willing to fight to the death in order to stop it. During his 3-year absence, he trained and meditated in order to truly find himself. When we see him again, he is currently struggling to contact his loved ones, but has no success. Rich comes back with a new resolve to end the experiments that the SGC have started before another war comes out. He's bitter and stubborn, but he has a good head on his shoulders. But is he doing the right thing? Nick is a new character with a past that isn't quite told fully in this story. We know he's an ex-soldier for the SGC, but his reasons for leaving them is unknown. His anger puts him in quite a bit of trouble throughout the film, but he's able to grow and realize that anger isn't the right way. Seth, the new antagonist. He's a straight-up sociopath who loves seeing people suffer, while also controlling them. He is willing to do anything to achieve the new world order him and his leader foresee. Without spoiling too much, we see Fennec, Rich, and Nick fight for humanity's future throughout the film. What becomes of their future and the results to all this conflict is something that you'll have to watch and find out. This film is only about 33 to 35 minutes long. I didn't want to create something that would be too long and too boring. I made that mistake too many times already. So before I dive into feature-length films again, I'll be focusing more on short films, web series, and short movies. I'd rather it be short, sweet, and have a good pace than long, drawn-out, boring, and so on. This film will also be my darkest and most intense film to date, but also my last take on the action drama genre for quite some time. I financially can't keep affording these films when I have a wife and a dog to take care of. We like to move into our own place sooner rather than later, so I don't expect to be making the next big film project until at least 3 to 5 years from now. If all goes well, this next one will be titled Fatal Encounter: The Emergence of Talents. It takes place about 5 years after Rise and Fight, and will star a few new characters whom have their own issues and problems with the organization at hand. Without going into too much detail, they'll have to fight for what they believe in, and will also be trying to contact the men who have been dealing with these guys for years, and get help from outside sources, but not without growing and getting stronger themselves. That's all I can really tell you since nothing is official and I only just started writing the script for it weeks ago. I expect Fatal Encounter: Rise and Fight to be released between January and March of 2019. The first Fatal Encounter will be a couple months after that, and then finally we'll be focusing on fan films for my friend Mick, and a web series we'll be filming a tad later than that. Filmmaking is just something I fell in love with. The art of film fell into my hands. It's something that's collaborative, creative, challenging, and overall just fun to do. It's my outlet from reality, and I'm happy that I'm able to do it. Without it, I wouldn't be who I am today. I'm hoping that my struggles and success inspire others to achieve their dreams in the filmmaking industry. Whether you work for a larger company or create your own, it's all up to you. Even if you don't want to ever be a filmmaker, then I wish you the best in whatever it is you wish to do. Just go out there and do your best. You have more support than you realize, and you'll never know what the results will be until you try. With that being said, it's time to wrap this video up. We have big plans for this year, from switching over the business license to creating our own website, merchandise store, wrapping up big film projects, creating and starting others, and so on. So be sure to follow us on social media as well as on here to stay up to date. Anyways, have a wonderful day, and as always, take care.